Hey guys, it's Rod from Huntington Company, and we have another episode of TikTok. And today is going to be a good one because we posted a video not too long ago in regards to 3 Cartier watches that are in my personal collection. And that video did great. Looks like a lot of you guys have the same passion that I do when it comes to affordable vintage and neo-vintage Cartier. So as promised, I want to take a look at a few examples in today's market that are super affordable and that are great watches for you guys to invest in. So let's take a closer look at some neo-vintage Cartiers from the late 80s to the 90s and even early 2000s that in my opinion are super undervalued, underappreciated, and great buys for anybody looking to get into vintage, neo-vintage, anything with watches, or looking for something a bit more classic.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So first things first, something that you guys need to understand if you don't know about Cartier. Let's be honest. With these affordable watches, it's not about the movement housed inside. Most of these watches are going to be ETA movements if it's mechanical or if it's quartz. It's not high halt horology. It's a simple off-the-shelf movement. But the design and the class of Cartier is what makes them so special. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of Cartiers out there, and especially with recent releases from them in the past 2 to 3 years that have some crazy movements, in-house stuff, and they are doing amazing work. But for these watches specifically, they are going to be mainly ETA movements, and it's not all about the movement and the quality of what's housed inside. It's about the design and the quality of the case, dial, and that design language that Cartier is so known for. It's what I truly love about Cartier. It's simplicity at its finest. So let's take a closer look at a few options that I would recommend to anybody who asks me what should they pull the trigger on when it comes to adding a Cartier to your collection. And the first one is going to be the Mousti Cartier Tank from the neo-vintage era. Both quartz and manual wound movements are perfect. A lot of people shy away from quartz when it comes to watches altogether. A lot of people just don't like quartz, and I get it. We're enthusiasts. We love the idea of a mechanical watch to wind it, hear its heartbeat. But for a Cartier, the importance is not its movement, it's the design. So if you are able to pull the trigger on a watch that is in amazing condition or has some sort of beautiful dial, but it's a quartz movement, specifically with a Mousti Tank, I would not pull away from that watch just because of what's housed inside. Because the Cartier Mousti Tank in either quartz or manual are both amazing watches, and honestly, they still demand the same price. So you're not getting a less desirable watch. The Mousti Cartier Tank was released as a affordable option for clients to be able to get into the world of watches when it comes to Cartier. They had nothing in the affordable price range, so they came out with a Mousti line. Now, it's not only the Cartier Tank specifically that comes out with this line. There's a lot of different designs from, circle dials to even some square dials under the Mousti name. But the Cartier Tank is the most iconic, and for under $3,000, you can get a beautiful mid-size 23 by 31 millimeter in a thick gold plating and some of the coolest dials, from Roman ivory dials, all red, all black, some rare wood dials. There is so much to choose from. Again, Cartier did a lot during this era. When it comes to dial options, there is an endless choice, from color to Roman dials, clean dials, whatever you're looking for. Cartier tanks from the Mousti line have you covered, and even some come in just a sterling silver case with no gold plating. So if that's your cup of tea, then take a look at just the silver cased examples, because those are just as gorgeous. And even in my opinion, looking at the market, they are fairly more uncommon because a lot of people want that gold. So that is something really cool to look into. But the Mousti Cartier Tank is a great option, and even for a gift, if it's a spouse, a wife, your mom, Christmas, holidays, I feel like Cartier has this holiday family like class, just old school and really, really clean. So if you haven't yet, take a look at the Mousti Cartier Tanks from the 80s and 90s, because they are some of the coolest watches to get for under $2,000. And then for the rarer examples, $3K and under. These watches are still fairly affordable, and as with any vintage watch, they're only going to get harder to find when condition on these watches gets a bit worse from people wearing and enjoying them, which is totally okay. So if you find yourself a clean example, pull the trigger on it, feel it out, because I promise you, you won't regret wearing a Cartier Tank. One of the coolest watches ever made, to be honest. Another great choice is going to be the Cartier Santos, but specifically the Cartier Santos Curie, which is a 29mm case, either in all steel, two-tone, or the super rare solid gold. Now we are wanting to keep it in the affordable bracket, so we'll take a look at the all steel and the two-tone. If you look at the market, the all steel is more uncommon than the two-tone. At the same time, just like the Musti Tanks, these watches come in a plethora of dial options, but they are way more rare. We're talking grays, blacks, burgundies, and some rare options that are very hard to find when it comes to the Cartier Santos. So if you ever find one in great condition, pull the trigger on it, because that's a true collector's piece. And if you are looking for an AP Royal Oak, or one day dream of owning that idea of a sports dress watch with that kind of finishing and that layout, with the bezel and the integrated bracelet, the Cartier Santos Curie is a perfect option. With its rugged industrial design, but its classy dial and layout, this watch is more like the little brother to the Royal Oak. The cool thing about this is it has a flat link bracelet that is finished perfectly. So when you take it out in the sun, you can really see it sparkle, just like the links do on a Royal Oak. And I think that's awesome. So for under $5,000, I think the Cartier Santos is a great choice. And honestly, if you've never liked the Rolex Datejust and don't understand the idea of a Datejust being the perfect daily watch, and you want something different, or you kind of are pulling to something else, take a look at the Cartier Santos. Because in my opinion, for my personal style and what I do on a daily basis, I love dailying a Cartier Santos or Tank more than I do a Datejust, just because it works for me more. So again, take a look at the Cartier Santos and the Tanks, because they are both amazing choices. Then, the best part of neo vintage Cartiers is there were so many different styles and designs of Cartiers that had come out during the past 30 years, from the late 1990s all the way down to even the 70s. And if you do a lot of digging and always take a look at the market, there are very high chances that you're going to find something really special. There have been multiple instances for that under 5K mark. I have seen Cartiers pop up from this era that are super uncommon. If it's a Vendome with a special dial with that step case, or even a case that you don't often see with Rolex that you can't find anywhere else, these watches were made in small quantity. So if you find something that doesn't look like what you normally see with Cartier, make sure it is original. Take a look at the font on the case back, the movement inside, the dial, how sharp it is. And if it is a really clean example, then there is a chance that you stumbled on a very rare Cartier. And these rare and uncommon Cartiers can still be had for under $5,000. And that's what I love about the Cartier market. The Rolex market, AP, whatever it might be, is oversaturated. Everybody knows everything and anything about Rolex. Anything rare has already been discovered, and they are asking high prices. If there is any Rolex that looks different or special compared to what you normally see, you know that the price tag is going to be ridiculous. And if it's not, and if it's an auction or anything else, you already know that there's 100 other people watching that listing and watching that watch, waiting to pull the trigger on it. But when it comes to Cartier, there is still a lot to discover, and that's what I love about this brand. So if you're looking to really hunt for a perfect watch, something special, something that when you put it on and go to a watch meet, everybody will be confused on what's on your wrist, take a look at the neo vintage and vintage Cartier market and really do your research, because I promise you, give it a couple weeks or a month or so, something is going to pop out that you never knew existed, and a lot of people are going to agree with you with how rare that Cartier is, because there's a lot out there that not a lot of people know about. So again, I love Cartier. My personal collection always has Cartier in it. There are so many models that have come in and out of my collection, and I'm always learning something new. If you are looking for something really cool, take a look at the Musti Tank to start you off. If you want to spend a bit more, look at the Santos Curie. It's a great daily watch for something that has that industrial design that you see with the Nautilus and the Royal Oak and so on. At the same time, there's a lot of other beautiful examples. My personal Cartier Tank Basculin is a great watch. It has that reverso design with the case integration and mechanics, and it was actually a collaboration with JLC, the case maker for the reverso, and Cartier. So it is not just an homage or a copy. There is true history, and in Cartier. And there are so many watches out there that are still super affordable that you can get your hands on, that I think are some of the most beautiful looking watches and some of the most classic designs in today's market. So thank you guys so much for checking out today's video. As always, I hope you learned something new, and we are having a giveaway this month. So if you haven't entered yet, make sure you go to our Instagram and take a look at our pinned post, because that has in the comments everything you need to do to enter into this month's giveaway, a free marathon watch. And we're going to be announcing the winner at the end of this month. So good luck, and I will see you guys in the next one.